Well, hello. How is everybody doing? I'm excited to be doing today's video. It's your girl, Coach Njogu, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about something that I've been working on, and it's an NLP presupposition where they say the meaning of communication is the response. Yes, the meaning of what you tell people is the response you get. Okay, so it doesn't matter how you say it or how you publicize it, how people capture that information is the meaning of what you communicated to them. Okay, we will dive into it. I'm going to share something here so that it can go well with what I'm talking about. Okay, perfect. So when we talk with people or when we communicate with people, sometimes we want to create a relationship. Sometimes we want to send something out. We want to give out information so that people can do what we want or something that matters or we hold dearly in our hearts. So we've had statements like, oh, they don't get me. Why are you taking things so lightly? Or why are you doing things so well? There are always these statements where we are poking how somebody processes information. We are feeling like, what they're doing is not right. So I want to talk around that topic. When you see my diagram here, so what happens when we talk to people, this external bit here, this is how they get the information. This is the information that we output to them. This is what they receive, whether they watch or whether we are talking to people. This is the output that we get from them. And then this output, it gets to go through our five senses, how we eat, we feel, we see, like all these five senses. And remember that according to scientists, we get about 2 million bits of information that go through our senses. So imagine all the five senses working per second, trying to capture all this info that they're getting. And then what happens is out of those 2 million bits of information, they get filtered, distorted, and generalized, something in NLP that I'll discuss in a later video. So our mind, our senses, they get to filter the information, they delete some of the information, or they generalize some of the information. That's why we hear statements like, all a certain type of people, they behave this way. That's a general statement, but we'll discuss that in a later date. So what happens is when you do the filters, which is this one here, you get to get the information in small bits, in small chunks, approximately, let's say about 60 chunks per second. And then these chunks, they become your internal representation of how you've grasped that information. So for example, when we are talking to a group of people, or when you're talking to a group of people, and then after that, somebody else conducts an interview and asks the people, what is your take from that presentation? And out of 10 people, you'll find 10 different views of that presentation because everybody has taken the information that was given, the common information, they processed it through their five senses, and then they ran it through their filters, which came out in small chunks, and then they have it as the internal representation. And that's why you see sometimes we do feedback forms, and in the feedback forms you get to see like different views from the participants who were there at that time. So is it wrong? Is it wrong how people process information? The answer is a big no. Everybody is processing information according to how they have captured the information. How people output that information is based on their filters. So is this something that you have control over? Maybe. So remember that when we say one size does not fit all, okay? The same way when you give information, not everybody is going to get the output that you intended for them to get, or they're going to give you the response that you wanted them to give you. So what can you do? If, for example, I have been communicating to you through a phone call and I feel like that message is not getting through to you, I can change how I communicate to you or how I pass on that information to you. And in the process, probably you're going to pick up one or two cues of what I intended for you to have it. So what I'm saying here is when someone does not constantly get you, when you say, oh, he doesn't get me or she doesn't get me, have you changed how you pass that information? Have you tried to do it in a different way? If, let's say, for example, it's in your house and you feel like your child does not get you, Always actually don't. Have you tried to speak to your child in a different way? Have you tried to change even the environment? Maybe the environment affects how the child processes the information you're giving them. Same thing with our workplaces. If you're a leader or the person in charge, and you feel like your team is not performing to its best, have you tried a different way of conveying the information you want them to grasp and understand? Because you are expecting a certain outcome. So try and pass the information in a different way. Don't focus on what you say. Focus on how you say it. The reason why I say this is because our body languages, they speak more than the words we speak. Yes, our body languages, they speak more than the words we speak. It's like when you're trying to talk, maybe you're trying to show affection to someone and you're like, oh, I love you. My body does not show that enthusiasm or oh, thank you. My body does not show that enthusiasm. You expect somebody who is saying they're feeling in love, or somebody who is feeling grateful to have more energy, to be more bright and all that. But if I'm showing gratitude and my face is all sunken, my body is all sunken, how I process that information, to you, you'll say that, but I told her thank you. But to me, how I process that information will be totally different. So our body languages, they always make that difference. So when you communicate to your friends, your partner, your colleagues, or anybody around, check how you pass that information. If your team is not performing well, or you feel like they don't get what you constantly tell them, have you tried to tell them in a different manner? How do you tell them? How does your body express it? Do you tell them that we need to reach the target, but how you express it, it just tells them like wherever, you don't have to do it. It's not a must. So our body languages, they sell us a lot. This is something that we need to pay attention to. So when we communicate again, we can be informing people. You can be communicating to inform people of something, maybe like a factual information. You can be communicating and involving that person. So you are having a dialogue. You want to hear their opinion. You can be communicating to influence when you're speaking to persuade people to see your viewpoint. And finally, you can be communicating to inspire people. So this is when you're trying to motivate others, like what I'm doing today. So often we find that when we inform people, we don't get the expected results, especially if we have a desired outcome. But when we involve people in our communication, chances of getting the expected outcomes, they become higher. Because when you invite these people to give you their opinion, what happens is you're having a dialogue with them, and in exchange, they will raise their concerns at that time. They will clear the air if they feel like they don't sit well with certain information. And that way you're able to clarify better of the expected results that you want. Okay, so try to be informing more than try to be involving people more than informing them, and through those dialogues you might be getting the expected outcome, so they're able to filter the information as you want them, or you get the outcome that you want. So as I conclude today's video, this concept of NLP communication, it's broad, and it's a very broad topic which we shall be talking about in bits. But I want you, when you're navigating the day-to-day, when you're talking to your friends, your colleagues, or family members, your children, your spouse, I want you to have this in mind, that how they process the information has a lot of things that contribute to that. It could be your body language is telling you. It could be how they filter the information. So make sure when you speak to be understood, not just to convey the information. Make sure that when you speak, it's good to always go back and ask, what have you understood from what I've told you? Instead of asking the person, are we together? Yes, we're together. And that's it. When you involve this person in your conversation, you are able to learn one or two things on how you can improve your communication channel. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, the meaning of communication is the response you get. So make sure that you communicate properly. Make sure that you find different ways of communicating, so that the intended person who is receiving the information is able to process the information and give you the outcome that you want. Until the next video, bye.